And yeah, excited to welcome you all to tonight's pitch event. We've got some really great companies that are going to be presenting today. We've got a few announcements and a few new things that we're trying today as well, so we're excited to tell you all about those. First, I'd just like to thank our sponsors. We have some amazing sponsors that support us in putting on these great pitch events and support us in the education, the workshops that we provide to the companies to get prepped for this this meeting, and then also for the subsequent conversations that they have with you and diving into due diligence. So really thankful to all of the sponsors that we have. We're also partnered with NRC IRAP. If you're not familiar with NRC IRAP, they provide government funding for research and development. They are also helping with supporting some of the prep work, the pitch practice, and all those sorts of things that go into getting these companies really polished for you for these presentations. I'm going to stand a little bit here so everyone can see me. And I hope everyone online can see me as well. Thank you all for joining, and look forward to your questions during our Q&A. We also have Keiretsu, which is the, Mark, we're not sitting on it. There we go. So Keiretsu Forum, we're partners with them. They have forums all over the place, but we're particularly connected with Northwest and Rockies. And we see them kind of as a big brother or the next step to Vantec for a lot of the companies that come through. A lot of the companies that they talk to come to Vantec first, and we sort of have them at the pre-seed, seed stage, and then Keiretsu is more of that sort of seed, C+, and Series A, and they have an event, I believe, coming up next Tuesday. So if you're interested in learning more, then definitely let me know about that. So this is the new thing that we are, oh no, sorry, this is not the new thing. I've got a lot of QR codes for you today, so I apologize in advance. I'm going to see a lot of phones going up in the air today. We are collecting the information about the companies that you have invested in. We are trying to keep this as high level as possible. We're just looking for the amount of money that you've invested and how many investments you've made. This is really helpful for us to report the impact that Vantec and all of you are having for the early stage ecosystem, for the startup community. And also it helps with a lot of the groups out like the National Angel Capital Association, or no, sorry, organization, and CVCA as well, who really do lobby to try to get a lot done in this space and have things like the EBC tax credit available to all of you to try to incentivize you to invest in these early stage companies. And so I really do urge you to tell us a little bit high level of what you have been doing as far as an investment point of view from last year. And we will keep it all anonymized. We won't share your name, your email, or anything like that. Just so that I'll go first, everyone. So in 2025, What If Capital invested in 19 companies, and we deployed $2.25 million. So it's that easy. That's all we're looking for. So I hope you take the time to let us know, and we'll send this out in the post-event email as well. All right, so a little bit about Vantec for those of you who are here for the first time. Vantec is a first stop for founders. That's a quote that Mike, the president of the group, has said to me a number of times. It's one of the stops on the funding circuit in Vancouver. It's a first place for founders to come to get exposure to a room of investors, of community partners, of business experts, of other founders. It's a great place to practice your pitch and just build your network. This is one of those first stops once you have something really investable. So we're excited to be one of those places. And for those of you who are looking to join, we also not only are the first place for companies to come, we're the first place for you to find those companies. Obviously, it works both ways. We also should say that we're looking at pre-seed tech businesses, so at the earliest stage, really getting in on the ground floor. You can sponsor companies that you're backing. We always want to prioritize the companies that you're really excited about, so they can say that they were referred by you, and that gets them a gold star, and we pay special attention to those. Of course, you can connect with other angel investors, and why we're all here, to support early stage tech founders. We use DLM as our back office system. This is something you should all be checking out before you come to the event. Obviously, if you're a member, this is something that you have access to. You can see who's pitching at the upcoming event. You can get their company info, their pitch deck, and you're going to be getting a detailed pitch deck. There's a difference between the one that you're going to see today and the one that they put on Dealum, because they're not there to fill you in to sort of to answer the questions that you might have. So the one they're going to present today is a lot lighter of a version than the one you'll see on Dealum. You can also watch back the videos of the pitch events that we have, and check out the companies that are in the watch list that might not have gotten a spot to pitch at one of our events, but we still think they're worth taking a look at. If anyone's interested in becoming a member, this is our second QR code of the night. You can go through this very easy process to become a member. It costs $600 to have an annual membership, so we try to keep it very affordable, very accessible, but it really does help us do what we do today at these events. We're going to go through a few community announcements. We have some today. Sometimes we don't have any that we sort of announce at the events, but you can always get them through our monthly newsletter. You can sign up for this. Really what we're trying to do is aggregate all the great things that are happening over the next kind of month that we find in Vancouver that we think that you're going to find interesting. And we put it into our newsletter and we send it out the second week of every month. So let's get into some of these community announcements. I've got Dave Thomas in the room. Here we are. And so Dave's going to tell us about a few things happening at SFU Venture Labs. And I should say thank you for letting us host the event here at SFU Venture Labs.
Good.
Over to you.
All righty. Thank you very much, Aaron. A couple things just wanted to alert people about. These are Venture Labs events. So on Wednesday of next week, we have an in-person panel session on military procurement and defense supply chain systems in Canada. Different people will be on the panel. It includes the president of Mustang Survival, somebody from Ottawa who's been in procurement in the past, a senior VP from SAP, as well as two of the smaller companies that are here, and then somebody who's a marine consultant in procurement from Victoria. So it's open to anybody who'd like to come. If you or some of the companies you've invested in are interested, more than welcome to join us. We're running a 6-part partnering series. One of them is next week. That's partner-driven selling. In other words, how to work with VARs, channel partners, all the other things that's there. And we are announcing in the next week the events that Venture Labs will work on with the Trade Commissioner Service and Trade and Invest BC at Web Summit. We did 3 last year. This year we'll do 2. Rise and Raise Women's Founders event, which will be in the late afternoon and evening of the 12th of May, and then curated meetings matching companies with investors, which are both domestic and international. This will be on the Venture Labs website in probably about a week. We're still getting permission from government to figure out if we have the correct logo. Okay, so once we get that finished, you'll be able to find all the info on the Venture Labs website. Is this going to go the right way? All right, here's a bit more detail on the military procurement one. If people want to read, there's no quiz after this. So it just gives you an idea of what the real content will be like and tells you a little bit more about what's going to happen. Can I move to the next one? All right. And then a little bit more detail on the 2 events which come up to Web Summit. My assumption is 3 months from now, you'll be sick of hearing about Web Summit, but you heard it here first. So, it's coming back, and I think we'll find that it is a lot more targeted than it was last year. And these are the 2 things that we're going to participate in. And Aaron, thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go along to, and this is a list of a lot of the other events that are coming up as well. So I'll let people grab.
Top of the list.
Top of the list, Vantec. We love it. I saw that on the website the other day. We appreciate the exposure. All right, so let's get on to a couple of other community announcements. So there is an event coming up next Tuesday at 5 p.m. at Fasken. It's the Future of VC with Boris Wirtz, very respected investor who started here in Vancouver. I think he's down in the Valley now, but I will be going to that, and I'll also be going to the event which one was it? The military one on the 11th. I'll be there as well. So for this one, William Johnson was kind enough to give us a 50% discount. If you scan this QR code, this is the next QR code of the night, the code will already be applied. But if you go to it afterwards, the code is Vantec, pretty easy to remember. I will give you a second here. Is anyone keeping track of the QR codes? We got lots. All right, so next up, we have something that one of our members has asked me to make an announcement about. Edward Chu, the IC Taiwan Grand Challenge 2026 is happening, and the deadline for this is February 28th for companies that are interested in getting a landing prize of 30,000 USD and a total value cap of up to $3 million USD. They're connecting AI and deep tech startups to the world's most advanced semiconductor ecosystem. So if you are interested in this, the deadline is February 28th. You can reach out to Edward Chu at info@e11ventures.ca. There's the apply online one there, so I should be seeing all of those deep tech and AI companies taking out their phones, taking a look. I see them happening. All right, I think the count's at 5 now. All right, let's keep going. So, What If Capital, I always like to do a little plug for What If Capital. I mentioned before the activity that we had in 2025, investing in 19 companies, $2.25 million. And we have a round open until the end of February. So if you would like to invest, you can count those tax credits, 30%, towards the 2025 taxes. I'm going to hand over to Mike Volker, the president of the fund, to say a few words about What If Capital as well.
Thanks, Aaron. Gee, it's nice to see so many of you out here this afternoon, and great to reconnect with some people I haven't seen for a long time. So for the last 23 years, I've been standing up here in front of you trying to talk you into investing in What If Capital. And you're probably thinking, yeah, he wants to take our money so that he can invest in companies and take a cut of it. And of course, that's true to a certain degree. But now, what I want to tell you is I want to answer the question, do I have skin in the game, and why am I an investor in What If? So I started early on, and one of the motivations I had in starting the fund was to pool capital, work with other angel investors so that we would have, for example, more leverage, so that we could negotiate better terms and come up with good term sheets. And so that was the concept, and still largely is. But I started investing my own capital early on, and over the years that's compounded and grown, and I'm now at close to $2 million invested in the fund. But I've gotten all of that money back. That hasn't come out of my pocket. That's come from returns on exits, successful exits, and on the tax credits that the government provides. So this fund is an evergreen fund, which means that you can roll over your capital periodically. And it's not necessarily 5 years, as many of you might think. It's driven by exits. So whenever we have an exit, we give our investors the opportunity to cash in. They can walk away and take some money out, or they can roll it over, in which case they get the tax credit again. And that's tax-free. And so many of our investors are at the point now where they've done this repeatedly, and so they have gotten back all of the skin in the game, so to speak, has gone back to them just through tax credits and exits. And we've got some interesting nuances in the fund that can, I think, help you with personal financial planning that Aaron and I would be happy to talk to you about afterwards. Speaking of Aaron, I brought Aaron on a few years ago because I was running it sort of as a single one-armed bandit, and it was great to have Aaron join the party and expand our reach and get involved with due diligence, checking out companies, and also in running Vantec, because we want to have Vantec and What If closely connected, because we want to invest in a lot of the companies that appear here. And for you, if you're an investor in What If, it's a great opportunity to get feedback on what you think about the investment, because it's all about kind of working together and figuring out which deals are good and which deals are not. So I'm rambling on a little bit, but the message to give to you is that I'm an active investor in the fund. I've done very well by it, and I'd love to share with you my story about how I've done that and how you can do that too. So thanks for your time, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Mike. All right, something that I started doing last month and I want to continue to do to sort of just show the activity that What If Capital is having. I mean, we have a goal to invest in a new company every month. We are investing in subsequent rounds for our portfolio companies as well. So we're trying to be very, very active in the pre-seed sector here in Vancouver. And so since our last event, we have made 2 new investments. So we invested in Twin Glaze. They pitched in October, and we put $100,000 into them in January. They were able to hit their threshold and close the round, which was fantastic. Carbonyx, we haven't quite sent the money yet, but we have confirmed that we are going to lead their round for the round that they have open right now. And we have Douglas and Adrian here from the company today. But we're going to lead the round with $100,000 US, and we're looking to close this out this month, hopefully. But I'll let Douglas tell you a little bit more about that. And then we did make a couple of top-up investments as well. So we have put a little bit more money into a company we invested in called SprayWerx, which you will also be hearing from today. And they have about $400,000 available. That might have changed, but I'll let Rob talk to that. And we also put an additional $70,000 into H2O Biosciences to help close their round as well. So just to sort of give you a little bit of an update on what we're doing over at What If Capital. But to the point that you're all here for, the companies that are going to be presenting today, really excited about a lot of these. We have 4 2.5-minute pitches, a quick fire for these companies. We're getting 2 updates, so Carbonyx and SprayWerx, and then 2 intros, Minera Systems and Trade to the World. Then we got 5 5-minute pitches that will be followed by Q&A as well. Going to put up this slide here because this is the QR code that I think is one of the most exciting ones. I'm trialing a new connection tool, okay? So this is what we're going to be using to show interest, to ask to be connected with the companies. We're in beta stage, so if you go through, do click the option for I'm an accredited investor. We're going to change this for next month, but click the box for I'm an accredited investor. Don't worry, you're not committing to anything. And don't worry, all of this is fake money as well. But you're going to be given a bunch of fake money, and you're going to be able to invest in the companies that pitch tonight. And then we're going to see a leaderboard at the end of the night. You can also check off a box in each of the companies that you would like to express interest in, or you'd like to fake invest in. You can actually check off a box that says, I'd like to be connected with other people that are interested. So this is, we're not going to share this information with the companies, but this is if you would like to form a due diligence team, get together with other investors in the room that are interested in investing in that company, and we will make that connection for you so that you can take it from here. So this is something, like I said, it is in beta. There are a few things we're figuring out and working through, but we're really excited about trialing this. And I should mention that this was built by Sanket and his CTO or co-founder for their demo day. And I was so impressed with it that I told him that I must have this for our events. And so I brought it over for this. So really appreciated the work that they've put into this. And like I said, beta, so we want your feedback on this as well. Okay, I think that's all the rambling that I'm going to do. I think that's all the QR codes. There might be some later, but we're going to get to the presentations now. So I'd like to introduce Douglas from Carbonyx to come up and give us an update on what's happening with their business. Here you are.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Douglas. I am a co-founder and the CEO of Carbonyx. And simply put, our mission at Carbonyx is to become the first truly profitable carbon removal company without the need to sell a single carbon credit. And the way we plan to do this is by integrating carbon removal with the production of advanced materials for industry. So we're building a reactor that can simultaneously convert CO2 into rock while recovering these valuable materials from abundant waste feedstocks. And in doing so, we can generate about $1,000 of value for every ton of carbon that we remove, compared to existing carbon removal technologies which operate at a cost of $1,000 per ton, excluding the sale of these offsets. So we're a very versatile platform. We can produce a number of carbon negative materials serving some of the largest material markets globally. These include carbonates, which build our cities, specialty silica, which is in everything from your toothpaste to your tires. And then we can also adapt our process to isolate and extract critical minerals to power the clean energy transition. So I had the privilege of presenting at the Vantec event back in November, but since then we've hit a number of very exciting milestones with our key partners that I want to share today. So we'll be closing our $750K pre-seed by the end of the month. We have about 500,000 of this committed and are going through the final stages of diligence for the remainder. But we're very excited to announce that this round is being led by none other than What If Capital. We're also one of 5 ventures that was awarded $100,000 in non-dilutive by NorthX Climate Tech. This was recently announced at Converge 2025. And while we don't need these carbon credits to be profitable, it is still a viable source of revenue. And that's why we've just signed our first supplier agreement with Isometric, paving the way towards future offtakes. And then finally, we've been hard at work validating our products, so our silica specifically. This is one of our highest value products. And we've been able to generate silica at purities that meet or exceed the industry standard. We've also been able to recover the silica from real world waste provided by our industry partner RMC ReadyMix, with whom we've signed a letter of collaboration. So in light of these milestones, we're opening an additional $250,000 to round out a $1 million pre-seed. This will help us accelerate a number of milestones as we scale towards our first commercial pilot. So if anyone is interested in joining this round, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Thank you for that update. And if anyone is interested in our due diligence with What If, I'm happy to collaborate. I'm happy to share that. And we can have a conversation about why we chose to lead the round for Carbonyx and join this company. And Rio, just a heads up for you, we're going to be doing the 2.5-minute pitches all the way through. None of this 1 minute and then 90 seconds. We're trying to streamline it. All right, so we'll pull up the next presenter here. And for all the presenters, this is Rio at the front. He'll be your time card keeper, so look to him to know how much time you have, okay? But very excited to introduce another one of What If's portfolio companies, SprayWerx Technologies, and Rob to tell us a little bit more about it. So I'll hand over the controls and take it away.
Wonderful. Pleasure to be here. Can everybody hear me okay? Pleasure to be here this afternoon. I head up sales and marketing for SprayWerx, thermal spray coating solutions for small ID components. There's a number of markets where these problems occur. Think aerospace, oil and gas with downhole pipes, and other industries, particularly industrials, plastic extrusion component. And the difficulty there is refurbishing the inside of these pipes with applicable coatings that extend the life cycle of these parts. SprayWerx Solutions. So we have a small ID torch that can get down to about 2.5 inches. There are no other, comparable solutions that can achieve the type of performance we can achieve, and we've field tested that to 10x durability vis-a-vis the current alternatives in the market. So our revenue engine is essentially, we have a prototyping facility, allow our customers to sort of sample our capabilities. That typically leads to a system sale, average contract value about $100,000, which then leads to reoccurring revenue for us in the form of consumables, that's spare parts, and really ongoing powder sales. We've had a great, 2024 leading into 2025. We've doubled our revenue, and we're looking to do that again here in 2026. We've got great customer validation. We've got an example up there with Pratt & Whitney, but a very active pipeline. So we've got about 41 customers across 12 countries, a number of different application types. And most of that pipeline is fairly well qualified. We're looking to close about $1 million of that here in the next few months. What this locks is really the next growth phase for us. So we're looking to, like I said, double this year and triple or more next year if we can pull it off. One of our challenges has been Alan, who's an amazing guy, but founder-led sales is very, very difficult. So I've been stepping in to help him expand the number of channels we've got. So we've gone just from Alan showing up to shows, speaking to other experts who are looking for the solution, to using targeted email campaigns to find our ICP. We've been able to get traction in oil and gas, and we're looking to expand our distribution this year through several key partnerships at our price point at 100K sort of average contract value. The best distribution strategy for us is to partner up with folks and potentially with folks that could acquire us down the road. There's a number of investors here already I think that are participating in this round. I recognize a familiar face. We've got 1.6 million committed and raised already, and we're looking to fill the rest in 2 weeks. Alan said to mark it down 2 weeks from today. So that's it for me. Appreciate you guys' time.
Great. Thank you so much, Rob. All right, those were our updates. And again, if anyone's interested in understanding why we decided to invest, I'm happy to collaborate on that and answer any questions you might have as well. All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Jordan from Minera Systems to give us an introduction to his business and what he's working on. So I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. Waste management is leaky. It leaks massive amounts of greenhouse gas and revenue generation potential. At Minera, we are deploying technology to capture both of these missed opportunities. Our systems extract and capture CO2 from organic waste, accelerate the decomposition process, and greatly increase finished compost value. The result is infrastructure that's immensely more profitable and climate friendly. This is the Claystone facility. It processes 20,000 tons of organic waste per year, which equates to about $2.7 million in revenue. This is important climate infrastructure, but the economics aren't that exciting. By deploying our technology, we can increase revenue potential by $5 million while putting 1.7 of that in the bank for ourselves. This completely changes the economics of this industry, and it's a great way for us to make money. Claystone is just one of 1,300 facilities like this across North America, and that's with us only managing 25% of our organic waste. We are the bridge to the 3,900 facilities we need to manage just 75% of that waste. Governments and operators know this, and that's why they're picking up the phone when we call. Our first commercial deployment is a modular drop-in system that allows customers to test the technology before they expand it across their site. We go from paid pilots to standardized commercial modules to city-scale joint venture builds. And this is Mini. This is the lab platform that proved the performance we need to scale. In 2025, we ran the system for over 4,000 hours and generated the most comprehensive decomposition data set we're aware of. In that process, we scaled it over 12x and greatly improved its performance. We're now ready to build a much bigger one and have caught the attention of the largest infrastructure operators in the world. This technology is coming to life, and we're building the company to make that happen. I've spent my entire career commercializing new products and technologies, and I'm joined by a team of engineers with deep experience at companies like Carbon Engineering, Vantec, and Questair. We are ready to go from lab to the field, and today we're hoping to connect with people with experience in project finance and hard tech, and anyone else who'd like to learn more about what we're doing and how we've gotten here so far. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Jordan. A founder that doesn't ask for money on his first time. I like it. Okay, so I think he's going to be coming back and asking for some money in a few months here, so keep an eye out for that, but great to connect and get an introduction. Next up, we have Kingsley Borrello to introduce us to Trade to the World, the marketplace that he's been building, so I'll hand over the controls and let you take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, my name is Kingsley Borrello. I'm a newcomer to Canada. I relocated 3 years ago, and thanks, Aaron, for inviting me here today. I'm an experienced professional in international trade and business development. In the last 20 years, I've assisted hundreds of small, medium enterprises in international expansion projects, either import-export oriented or through direct investments. By this experience, I witnessed personally how difficult it is for a small-scale company to successfully launch and manage an import-export project. This fact is also confirmed by global statistics that shows how large corporations totally dominate the international trade with a 70% of share, while the small medium enterprise lag behind with 30% of the share and a gap that is estimated in $10 trillion US per year. So there is a huge market opportunity to tap into if we are able to successfully support a small company to trade with confidence over in the cross-border trade. So with this in mind, with Chris, my co-founder and partner from Netherlands, that is an experienced professional in trade finance, we envisioned 3 years ago to set up a tech SaaS platform that could empower the companies in operating internationally through data automation, process design, and the employment of the newest technology, so that the import-export project would be an easy step for a company of any size. Last year, we ran a roadshow implementing our platform in Europe and North America, and we found a lot of interest by several organizations, so that today, 24 of them already are ready to join our ecosystem, among them banks, trade association, even a government agency. And with 7 of them, we are running pilots over innovative trade solutions. And all of them give us access to a potentially 500,000 companies being their corporate audience. So what we ask is $250,000 US in order to have 18 months runway. We are approaching the market this summer, and hopefully we'll get traction to reach $100,000 the first year with the 400 active customer, $170,000 in annual recurring revenue, and a break-even point that is estimated at 18 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Kingsley. All right, so those were the 2.5-minute pitches. If we want to just pull up again just the slides for the Vantec sites, I just want to give everyone an opportunity. Again, if you didn't already pull this out, I have it right here, and I don't see any phones, so everybody did it. Okay, so on to our 5-minute presentation. So the first one we are kicking off is Vivek and Shaz to tell us a little bit about Mama Milk. So I'll hand the controls over to you and let you take it away.
Thank you. My name is Shaz Tayyibi. I'm a lactation consultant and former midwife with more than 30 years of experience working with new families. I'm the founder of Mama Milk Innovations, and we are building the first breast pump that doesn't suck, literally and figuratively. Our team, Vivek is our CEO, co-founder, and he's a 20-year medtech veteran from Abbott and Pfizer, and Jonathan with more than 25 years of experience as an accomplished biomechanical engineer. Together, we combine clinical insights, regulated medical device experience, and of course, deep biomechanics. The $3 billion global breast pump market is broken. 62% of pump users are unsatisfied with the breast pumps and with pain and not efficient enough being the main complaints. Pumps use a 150-year-old design based on the assumption that their biology, how the biology of lactation worked. Now it's been disproven, and we know that oxytocin is the hormone that is very important for expressing milk, and whenever a mom is under distress or pain, that will block oxytocin. From $100 economy pumps to premium pumps, they all use vacuum to extract milk from the breast. Extract means removing something with force, like you extract a tooth. And mothers are reaching their breaking point, and they just give up. And unfortunately, they're the ones that are blamed for the solution that let them down. We have proven that vacuum can be replaced with baby-like compression, biomimicry. And our first prototype, which we have it here, users have unanimously said that it's great, it feels good. Our core technology is patent pending, and our PCT review has passed as novel and inventive. I spent years dealing with mothers who have had challenges with the pumps and came up with this idea. And since the idea to production, making the prototype, it's been 10 months. And our next phase is to finalize and validate our beta prototype, and then obviously develop the commercial product following medical device control procedures.
Our vision is for this technology to replace every pump at every price point around the world. The market is large but crowded. So we've made a thoughtful plan for market entry. We'll start by creating a new premium category that doesn't compete with the existing solutions. The comfort pump. This fills the need of a professional urban mom who already owns a wearable for work but wants more comfort at home. And it defines the rules of what your second pump should be. New mothers, typically age 28 to 38, conduct research online, interact with their peers on social media, and shop online. We'll follow the recent social and affiliate marketing playbooks used by Willow and Mom Cozy to scale each of their wearable pump businesses to over $100 million in sales. We're going to start in one metro region and scale as we develop an effective engine. Our goal at the end of year 1 is an annualized run rate of 10,000 units. By year 3, our model supports $17 million in revenue with a COGS and CAC under 25% of the sales price. This is a high margin, high growth engine, and it will be our jumping off point to pursue our grander vision. We are raising $750,000 pre-seed round at $5 million post-money cap, of which we've already closed 27% as of this morning. This gets us to functional and marketing validation of the beta prototype, though it will not be ready for FDA review. We'll test performance, comfort, value proposition, and willingness to purchase with 100 users to prepare for a seed round to fund production, design, and commercialization. We'll then use contract engineering, manufacturing, and marketing resources to launch in our first city by December 2027. And this was a high-level overview of our product, our business. We have more detailed materials that should answer all of your questions.
And if you think that you think that women deserve better, please join us in this journey. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. So we are going to get to the Q&A portion now, and I always like to throw something complicated at everyone. We only have one microphone. So we're going to use our voices, and I'm going to repeat for those online, and we'll try our best. So does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Vivek and Shaz? And I love when I get to ask the first question. So let's talk a little bit about the regulatory risk. Is there any regulatory risk with this product and with this business?
Wow, that's a great and deep question. Let me see if oh, look. So I have to start, I guess, with the appeal to expertise. Medical device, class 2 and class 3, development and commercialization in the US has been my career for the last 20 years. So I'll walk you through, assuming not a ton of knowledge, before a breast pump can be sold in the US, we've got to submit it to FDA. The pathway is called 510K, and that is for when you're making a device that is pretty much the same as another device. Breast pumps were grandfathered into the 510K pathway because they were marketed before these controls even existed. So the product code is HGX if you want to look for it, and FDA publishes a pretty robust database of all applications and clearances. So to submit to FDA and get approved for sale, we've got to develop our product according to a quality management system for all the ISO people, ISO 13485. We have to do risk management following ISO 14971. And when we choose our contract manufacturer, they also must be FDA approved to build class 2 medical devices. But because this is a very old legacy 510K, we do not need to submit any clinical trials. And when we get our clearance, the clearance is to sell without a prescription, over the counter, cash pay on Amazon. So our design submission to FDA will include our design documents and then this list of FDA required tests. Biocompatibility, to make sure that the part that contacts your skin doesn't irritate you, and all the parts that the milk touches are food safe. We do electrical safety and compatibility. We'll test the upper limit of vacuum, because that's the real potential for injury in a traditional breast pump, as well as backflow protection to make sure milk doesn't get into the electronics. The average review cycle for 510Ks is about 28 weeks. Less time than it takes to make a baby. So that's pretty good.
Fantastic. Do we have any questions in the audience? I see one down here. Mike, why don't you shout it out?
How do you deal with copycats?
How do you deal with copycats?
That is, I don't know if I have a slide for that, but so first we've spoken to people in the industry, retired VP of North American Consumer Sales from Medela, as well as people from Medela Europe. The general consensus from manufacturers, for a bunch of deep reasons, is they think they're nailing it. So nobody will want to copy us until we show that this is either a growth opportunity or a threat. So if we say it takes us a year before we're worth copying, first we have patents, and we are looking in with our insurance broker to IP insurance, which would fund the money to sue somebody that tries a direct knockoff. If they try to work around the patent, they're going to face the same problem that we've faced, which is there is no biomechanical data on women's breasts as they apply to lactation. It's all around breast augmentation. So they're going to have to get back to primary research, just like we did. and let's say that takes a year. Then finally, because it's a different system, their manufacturing is going to require pretty significant retooling. So if somebody is like going full bore, possibly a competitor might be as fast as 18 months behind us from the year mark after they start to copy. And by then, we should be cash flow positive, standing on our own with our own established outsider brand. Does that, thank you.
Gonna steal that back. Okay, I saw another question. We have one. Shantanu, can you yell it out? I'm going to repeat the question just for those people online. So how much of a need is this as opposed to a nice to have, and what is the price comparison to the others on the market?
That's also a big question, and for anyone else who has this question, I would love to share the thought that went into the commercialization hypothesis that I presented, because there are a bunch of different ways we can take this. Fundamentally, we consider this to be a clinical unmet need. Breast pumps are causing tissue damage, they're causing mental damage, and they hurt. In any other product used on humans on a daily basis, these would be showstoppers. So our go-to-market and pricing is not so much built on like, do people need it? But how do we find the first level of people who not only need it, but by using it, will achieve the kind of outcomes that they evangelize. Some of the alternatives we considered, if this kind of helps create an answer, are that we could have said, instead of going after the second pump you buy as a comfort pump, we could try and find the women who have already been hurt by their current breast pump. And as they're searching for alternatives, we could say, this is the best alternative. That, we know that need is there, and we know it's 15% of the population, but they're not as easy to segment and reach with like social ads as this like demographic psychographic, because now we're trying to target people based on a past clinical outcome. But with our pre-seed money, we will be adding more rigor to this analysis, investigating options, and really we're trying to keep as many options open as possible for as long as possible to help us get from like 0 to 1 and build that foothold in the market. So that was a great answer.
I think you did a pretty good job. We'll leave it with that. We want to get as many questions as we can. I've got time for one more. And I had Sean up first, so we'll go to Sean and then we'll save the others. Sorry.
No worries. Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you too. I think you're pretty impressive what you're doing. I want to build on Mike's question. So he wanted to ask what competitive advantage. Can you tell me what the point of invention is specifically in the patents that you've got filed and hope to have issued soon?
That is the point of invention. I gotta get my work out here.
So the point of invention in the current PCT, the US provisional, and in the full submission we're making is around the biomimetic linkage that simulates a baby's jaw. The claims, in the description we talk about biomimicry as a design source, but the claims aren't around that. The claims are around this like soft component that uses mechanical motion to basically deliver a compressive force into breast tissue. Sorry? I'd have to bring the CTO, who is not here, up to talk about all of the claims, but that's sort of the key independent claim.
Fantastic. Lots more to dive into. Thank you so much, Vivek and Shaz. All right, fantastic start to the 5-minute presenters. I'd love to invite Puneet up to introduce us to Nymble Health. So I'll pass the controls over to you and take it away.
Perfect. Hello. So hi everyone, I'm Puneet, founder and CEO of Nymble. I've been a practicing family physician for 15 years, during which I've been championing and building digital health tools. This is actually my third company. And I've seen a lot of people with chronic disease. What if I told you that the $11 billion chronic disease mobile app market is completely broken? I'll take it a step further. What if I said that the mobile app interface for chronic disease support simply does not work? And I've seen this fall apart in the front lines as a family doc. First and foremost, apps don't support the people who need it the most. And again, we're talking about the elderly. We're talking about people who are frail. We're talking about people who have multiple conditions, low socioeconomic status, cultural, linguistic barriers. Basically, people who are going to need the greatest amount of support aren't getting it. In addition, systematic reviews have shown that 40% of the time, people who use chronic disease applications stop using it after the first time they log in. Obesity is the perfect example where all of this is going wrong. We know that everyone's getting a prescription for a GLP-1, but no one's actually getting access to behavioral support and care. And this isn't just bad for patient care. This lack of behavioral support equals non-medication adherence, and that's been shown as a linkage. And that leads to doubling of the cost for health systems to care for these people and $40 billion of lost revenue for pharma yearly. So I set out with my co-founder, who's Dr. Megha Podar. She's the co-author of the Clinical Practice Guidelines for Obesity in Canada to solve this problem. Introducing Nymble, a new way of thinking about how we support people in their journey with chronic diseases, particularly obesity and type 2 diabetes. No apps, no logins, no complexity. Nymble is simply a contact on their phone that delivers world-class, always up-to-date, personalized and proactive support through existing channels people already have. WhatsApp, iMessage, Android RCS, or via API into applications that are already available to them through the health system or through their health enterprises. We currently have over 1,500 users using our platform regularly in 4 countries, Canada, US, Ireland, and as of next week, Germany. We've shown that we have a 2 to 3-fold higher engagement rate on our platform at 6 months compared to best-in-class chronic disease mobile apps, so people continue to use it. We've demonstrated a 1.5-fold greater treatment adherence, so impact on medication adherence at 3 months in comparison to baseline. And we've also shown that per patient, we're saving the average of 30 minutes per month of time that either a counselor, nurse, or a human clinician would have to provide. We currently have 9 logos on board, most notable of which is, of course, Shoppers Drug Mart. We also have successfully completed a pilot with Rexall Pharmacies, a 4-month pilot that is now converting into a national enterprise contract that we're negotiating. And we're also going live next week with the largest GLP-1 virtual prescriber in Germany. With respect to our 2026 pipeline, we have, of the existing customers, we expect their contract value to increase to 250 this coming year. We have 500K that we're currently negotiating within Q1 itself, and another 1.2 million in verified leads that we're working on for the year. So based on realistic estimates, knowing that we're shifting focus from pharmacies and telehealth providers to the enterprise segment, which is pharma patient support programs, insurers, and health payers, we hope to double to triple our revenue on a yearly basis, targeting 6 million by year-end 2028. So aside from Dr. Megha Podar, who I mentioned wrote the Clinical Practice Guidelines for Canada, we have three of the top 10 leaders in the obesity medicine space who are helping open doors for us and ensuring our content and strategy continues to move forward. On top of this, I'm proud to say that I'm working with a team that's been there and done this before. Almost everyone on our teams are people that I've worked with and built companies in the past. Our CTO is ex-Apple, and our head of data and trust is one of the brightest minds in Canada in privacy by design. So point of note, these are people that can do the job. So we're currently here raising a bridge round via post-money safe valuation cap of 7.5 million with a target raise of 500 to 750. And our goal with this is to be able to get 8 months to be able to execute on our enterprise contracts, targeting closing at least 2 enterprise customers by the end of this year, which would bring our year-end revenue to 1 million and hit 10,000 users. A point of note as well is that our EBC application has been submitted and it's pending approval. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity to not only build a great company, but to help people who often get overlooked in support with technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Puneet. All right, we will open it up for Q&A. I see one here at the front, and again, Mark is watching the online for any questions as well. But Abdul, why don't you start us off? If you want to just yell out your question, I'll reiterate it. All right, so that question was, who exactly is your customer? Give that to us, and are there any billing codes or anything that play in this as well?
Fantastic question. So current customers of the 9 logos that we have are primarily retail pharmacies, private medical clinic chains, and virtual telehealth providers. So this has kind of been the mid-market that we validated our product in. We do feel like our ideal customer is likely going to be on the enterprise side. So most of our pipeline right now is focused on pharma patient support programs. So like the Novos and the Eli Lillys of the world. It's focused on insurers such as Green Shield that we're speaking with, as well as health payers, which are going to be further downstream and obviously the longest to convert into customers. But yes, so to answer your question, switching from the mid-market to healthcare enterprise.
Great. Can you white label it?
Absolutely. We can white label, and we can also embed our platform via API as an agent-to-agent solution as well. So that, and as an example with one of our current pharmacy customers, patients may not even know they're interacting with Nymble because it's deeply embedded within interface they're using.
How do you build a moat around this business and defend against fast followers and large incumbents?
Great question. So there's a few ways to be able to do this. So first of all, given the deep experience that we've had in the digital health space, so my last company, I built Canada's first cloud-based electronic medical record system. I'm very deeply familiar with clinical workflows and the amount of integration and how integration itself can be a moat. So one of our key product strategies is to integrate ourselves into the workflows that make it valuable for the various components of the healthcare system in that value chain. And this could be, for example, things like automating pharmacovigilance and adverse effects reporting, or dealing with things like prior authorization claims. We're also creating a moat through partnerships with high-profile stakeholders in the industry. We're working with Obesity Canada, which is the primary nonprofit advocacy group in Canada for obesity, as well as Obesity Matters, which is a major patient advocacy organization, and then a high-profile medical centers of excellence in obesity. On top of that, we have anonymized data usage abilities to continue to further our platform as well.
I always like to see a data moat. Does anyone have any questions? We'll come back if there's, yeah. Abdul, go ahead. We'll come to you afterwards. Sorry, Abdul, you go ahead and then we'll come to you.
Sorry, so who's in the back end? Like, do you have to have a call center or something? Or how does the technology really work in the back end? Is there like some sort of AI? What's going on there?
So the question was, what's happening in the back end? What is the technology itself? So Nymble is actually infrastructure for the delivery of automated behavioral support. So the back end is an agentic platform that manages and delivers behavioral therapy and a proactive program. We do have a human expert in the loop, a clinical expert whose attention is being brought to areas that require and warrant attention. And what we're effectively managing is delivery channels and the throttling between those delivery channels, and then the creation of value by using this longer-term durable data to automate workflows and processes for our customers. Absolutely. I'm just trying to see if I have one slide here that talks a little bit about our data. So I'll show some of the, oh yeah. So the question was, how long do we imagine patients are going to continue to use the platform? And do we have, I guess, some feedback and testimonials from patients? So that's a great question. A big part of the focus and the theme of the company is to focus on a long-term relationship between people and their treatment journey. This is something, again, I personally have seen falls apart because people don't continue to use these tools for the long term. So we wanted to make it simple, and we wanted to meet people where they are, acknowledging that that could evolve over time. It could mean voice down the road. It could mean integration into devices in the future. So our longest standing user on the platform has been on the platform as a cohort for about 2 years. And what's really interesting is we begin to see ebbs and flows of usage over time. So there's periods where, for example, a cohort of users won't use the platform for 6 or 7 months in that they're not asking questions, but then they become power users. And that's really exciting for us because we know that chronic disease is nonlinear. No one plans to spend 10% of their day every day thinking about diabetes. It's going to go into the background, and then it's going to become an issue again, and you want to be able to easily access that support. In terms of direct testimonials, I might have a few here, actually on the bottom. So I'm feeling positive and motivated. Thanks again for your support and great ideas. Actually, we actually measure what we call sentiment analysis quite regularly in our conversation, and it's been one of the really positive things coming out of this because a lot of times people are just looking for re-encouragement or encouragement and support, and having that available to them in a personalized basis that has continuity and connects back to their care team is really a big part of what we're offering.
All right, I'll wrap up with the last question. And as an investor, how do you envision getting us a return on our investment?
Great question. So we think that there's a huge opportunity to, first of all, expand this business beyond cardiometabolic disorders. We do want to be best in class in the cardiometabolic disorder space, which includes, heart disease, fatty liver, diabetes and type 2 diabetes, diabetes and obesity. However, we're already beginning to see inbound coming into other areas. So we see the ability to expand far beyond cardiometabolic disorders. That being said, there are many companies that I think represent meaningful acquirers in the 3 to 5 year horizon. As a comparison, there are companies such as Thristle, which was acquired by Health Catalyst in 2011 and others. So I do think there's a meaningful positioning for our platform, both in the technology space, health technology space, or insurers that would find it a meaningful part of their portfolio.
Thanks so much, Puneet.
Thank you.
All right, great job. Appreciate it, and stick around for networking afterwards to ask any other questions we have. I would like to introduce our third 5-minute presenter, Amin, to come and tell us a little bit about Enya Learning. So I'm going to hand over the controls and let you take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Amin. I'm a co-founder and CEO at Enya Learning. So I want us to reflect on our own journeys in education. What was K-12 like for you? What did you experience? Chances are you did your education under the bell curve model. Now, by design, the bell curve means some people are at the bottom of the barrel. We can change that. We have the technology to change that now and approach education from a personalized perspective. Now, if that's the case, why does legacy edtech still fail millions of students? They can ship new AI or new UI features, but the underlying paradigms are still from decades ago. They're outdated, and they are not responding to the needs of educators and students today. They approach education from a one-dimensional perspective, focusing on tests and memorization. They provide generic Eurocentric content. They approach education from a one-size-fits-all perspective. And if there is anything better, it's priced at a level that's not accessible to most families or school districts. How do we change that? Well, we combine personalized adaptive learning with very highly curated content. We distribute that both through B2C and B2B at an affordable cost. What does it lead to? The results are clear. We incorporated in June of 2025, and already, with just organic growth without any paid ads, we're at around 1,200 users. As we speak right now, this platform is being used in the biggest school districts in Canada. Our latest client is Edmonton Catholic Schools. We have institutional clients like Vancouver Public Library, TransLink, and the Metacreation Lab for Creative AI here at SFU is one of our supporters as well. Now, we haven't even launched our app. This is a web app right now. We are officially launching it in April, and we are expecting to see conservatively around 50,000 users by the end of the year. January was our first month that we started accepting paying clients, and we are at 7K already. What does the platform look like? On the student dashboard, no two students get the same set of content. Now, at first glance, introduction to coding might not lead to better literacy. But if we allow students to follow their passions in English, it will lead to better results in literacy for them as well. On the educator side, we save them time, and we allow them to see analytics at the individual classroom and school level. Now, how does it work? Every interaction with the platform is recorded, and it helps us determine what content to show what a student, keeping the student in the flow state of giving them content that is not too challenging or too easy. So don't just hear it from me, hear it from our parents. 85% of our parents report increased confidence in their child's learning. It's a huge deal if you are in the edtech sector. So in the pilots we've done so far, students make 21% progress over 3 months. Compared to traditional schooling, that's around 7%. We have a great team of educators, software engineers, and people who are passionate about creating a new paradigm shift in education, ushering a new era that fits today's world. Now, how does it work? On the B2B side, we charge a very low cost of $5 per student annually for licensing. School districts already spend 10 to 15K per student, and they don't have any insight into how that money is leading to actual results. At less than 0.1% of that, we provide a high-impact solution. We also offer the platform for free to parents and educators, and about 2% compared to paid users at $9 per month. Now, we are targeting a very small part of the market, around $75 million, and we believe that's very achievable for us. So far, we've done it from a bottom-up perspective, reaching out to districts directly, but now we are working with education ministries, institutions. Emily Lynn Block, who's the critic for education in BC, is one of our biggest supporters, and we're working with them to see how we can make assessment easier for northern communities, for Indigenous communities, that ministries usually don't have access to. That's just a small example of BC. Imagine this at a global scale. OECD already predicts that personalized learning agents will be in every single classroom by 2030. Enya can be the platform to scale this. Now, what differentiates us from our competitors? So most students do things because their parents told them to do so, or their teacher told them to do so. But if we allow them to pursue their own interests, that's a different story. It'll be intrinsic motivation. And instead of doing repetitive practice like Duolingo, where it gives you the illusion of learning, we give them conceptual mastery over different topics, and this is backed by the latest research in learning science. Now, our moat includes our content and the trust that we've built with the school districts. We are raising $500K at a $5 million valuation post-money. We already have $200K in soft commits, and this will get us to more than 30 districts and 1.2 million ARR and 50,000 users. And as my LinkedIn over there, don't get fooled by the size, your phones will recognize it. Come talk to me or Akin, my co-founder. Akin, raise your hand right there. Tell us what your experience in learning is like. How can we improve education? Thanks so much.
All right, fantastic, great presentation, Amin. And so we'll open it up for Q&A. You're close, so you get the mic.
Thanks very much for your presentation. So is the model here that this would act like a tutor, or would it actually replace the classroom teacher? So when you go in and sell it to a school district, how does that look?
Great question, thanks so much. I am a strong believer that nothing can ever replace the human touch of a teacher directly interacting with the students. We are picking on homework specifically. If you look at homework, it's stuck in 40 years ago. We still give paper worksheets to students, collect them back, and educators have to sit through every single one and grade them. We can replace that with a much more automated process that's still engaging for the students. So students can watch video content, answer assessments with voice and text, and that way we are replacing homework specifically. So we are not replacing the educator. This is meant to augment the experience for both the educator and the student. Thanks for your question.
All right, we'll come over in just 1 second. I've always found that EdTech is a really difficult industry to break into, but you seem to be making some pretty quick work with this. So tell us a little bit how you have done that. How have you broken into this industry?
Thanks very much. So yeah, I think a lot of investors are scared of EdTech because the sales cycles are extremely long. But if the value is clear to school districts, it's a no-brainer. At $5 per student per year, it's a very low-cost, low-burden project. And when a school districts want to bring on a new software and go through all the trouble of doing the security checks, they want to make sure that it leads to actual results. So because of the pilots we've already done and the great results that we've shown with the standardized testing that aligns with the curriculums in BC, in Alberta, and the rest of Canada, school districts already trust us, that they know that the proof is in the pudding. That's on the side of trust for the school districts. On the side of the technology, this is such a better experience for students. The students deserve education that is centered around their talents and interests. So the platform analyzes a bunch of different factors from the educator's perspective, the student's interests, talents, weaknesses, gaps, learning style, pace, to give very highly curated content to each student.
Okay, great. We had a question over here. I'm going to squeeze by.
Hey, Amin. Great presentation. I understand that the product focuses a lot on building personalization for students. Does that have an effect, or what is its effect on the collaborative aspect of learning with other students?
That's a great question.
Thanks so much for that. Yeah, so I always say to school districts, the cat's already out of the bag. Children are using ChatGPT and outsourcing their critical thinking to these chatbots that give them the answer right away. A process like this is much more collaborative. We are decentralizing learning and creating a marketplace for educators globally to create content and students to choose what they want to learn. Imagine if you had access to the stuff that you're interested in from middle school and elementary school instead of having to wait to graduate high school. Having that early access and giving that agency to students makes the process much more collaborative, not just at a local level, but globally. An educator in Australia can create content that is watched by a student in Vancouver, and they have that interaction that wouldn't have been possible without something like Enya.
Does that answer your question? Or are you looking for more like the group sort of learning together in the classroom? Do you want to elaborate? Yeah, the social skills that are built between the collaboration between students.
Yeah, I think one great example of this is our partnership with TransLink. So we connect the learning with real life experiences. We recently did modules for TransLink where they use our platform to teach students in BC how to use public transit effectively. Now, this way, students get to talk about specific interests that they didn't even know about at a school. So we are not replacing education and making it online. The students just get to realize their talents earlier and talk in groups, engage in groups, and collaborate in groups with their peers and educators in a much more efficient way.
Great. So I think to reiterate, it's the homework. This is really things that they're taking away, working on in their own time. There's still the in-person, in-class learning that goes on with the teacher, and you aren't looking to replace that. So that's really great. Do we have any other questions in the room? No? All right. I will finish off with one last one that I have here. I want to dig in a little bit to the content that you're creating. How much have you created? How have you created? How is this setting you apart? Tell me more about that.
Thanks so much. So at this point, we have more than 3,000 curated courses on the platform, and these are created by volunteers, retired teachers, working professionals, and subject matter experts. So you can go on the platform today and create content. Shane, who's a very experienced teacher from Vancouver School Board, who's a part of our team, serves as a peer review filter to make sure that the content meets our quality standards and meets the standards of local curriculums.
And I'm going to follow on with that. Is there any liability issues if he misses something, if something slips through that kids shouldn't be learning?
Yeah, I think EdTech is one of those fields where a lot of fear exists. At the end of the day, we want to realize a better future for all students. The education that kids are getting out of school today doesn't respond to the world that we are living in today. So instead of being afraid of crossing that line and crossing the threshold, why not put something out there with a specific guardrails and safety mechanisms and see what happens?
Fantastic. Thank you
so much.
Appreciate that. Great job, Amin. That was Enya Learning. All right, so we have up Christina and Cam to introduce us to phaseLab Dynamics. So I will pass the controls over to you and let you take it away.
Thank you so much. My name is Christina Graf.
I'm Cam Melvin.
And we rethink magnetic resonance imaging. MRI has a data quality problem. I am 30 years old and I am perfectly healthy. But if you look over to this image, and specifically within this red circle, you see this white ring. It looks like something is wrong. And to be more precise, it looks like I have cancer.
So now if we put Christina in a different MRI machine, we see these white spots in the red circle. This actually looks like Christina has a neurological disorder now, which she doesn't.
Fortunately, I'm perfectly healthy. So MRI has a problem with false signals mimicking disease. In addition to that, we also have a problem with speed. We simply cannot speed up MRI further with the data quality we currently have. And still, we need very expensive hardware to get to those results, and we cannot guarantee consistent results. And why is it that way? Because the way MRI images are generated hasn't changed much since the 80s and 90s. This is where phaseLab comes in. We have developed a way to make MRI faster, more accurate, and reliable without changing the hardware. How? We stopped relying on outdated approaches and started working with the full physics of MRI. We've tested our technology successfully in healthy volunteers and in people living with multiple sclerosis and post-concussive symptoms. And if you look now at my brain again, the white spots are gone, and this is from the same scan session.
So for MRI manufacturers who want to gain market share, our technology is the competitive advantage that they're looking for. We sell MRI manufacturers a software library of cutting-edge radio frequency pulses that they can implement directly in their machines.
For hospitals, imaging centers, and radiologists who would like to maximize patient throughput and minimize their costs, we offer a simple upgrade to their existing MRI hardware that changes everything. 25% faster scans, so therefore more patients per day. Better image quality, fewer imaging artifacts, and overall, we improve patient care.
So MRI improvements right now are focused in two areas. One is hardware improvements, and these are very difficult to retrofit, very expensive, and they don't address patient-specific issues. The other is post-processing, but these happen after the signal is already corrupted and cannot be fixed. And these corruptions actually lead to artifacts that look like real disease but aren't.
phaseLab is different. We fix the problem right at the source of signal generation without changing the hardware. We prevent artifacts from even forming. Therefore, we can offer higher image quality and faster scans in ways others cannot do. And we are protecting our core IP, and we have filed a provisional patent around it. Now, our team brings together mathematicians, physicists, engineers, and business leaders with a proven track record in medical imaging. We're a dedicated team focused on solving hard and meaningful problems. And together, we combine core technology, business execution, and a deep level into the MRI industry. So exactly what's needed to bring phaseLab to market.
This global market is approximately 50,000 scanners worldwide, and this market is dominated by 4 major players, and all of whom we have engaged. We sell directly to MRI manufacturers. We're expecting our first revenues later this year, and we're expecting that revenue to grow to 300 million annually by 2030.
Last fall, we published the results of our first product in radiology, the clinical MRI journal worldwide. Following the publication, the journal invited the radiologist and brain researcher, Dr. Jan Kesselman, to write a research article highlighting our work. Now, at the top radiological conference, RSNA, Dr. Kesselman approached Philips and other MRI vendors, paper and editorial in hand, urging them to get this onto their scanner. So therefore, we are scheduled to meet Philips on site in April for product verification and product discussions.
So we're excited to make this happen, and we're here asking for 600K Canadian in an angel round that's EBC eligible at a 10 million valuation to reach our key milestones, that on-site technical verification that Christina mentioned, as well as pilot commercial agreement. It would be our pleasure to introduce you to our lead investor, Andy Wright, whose name you may recognize from such recent successes like Actinum.
Okay. Join phaseLab for the MRI revolution. Thank you.
Take this back. All right, let's see if any hands shoot up in the air. I've got one down here, and then we'll go to you, Abdul.
Thanks very much. So what percentage of the total cost of an MRI machine would this technology represent?
The total cost of the MRI machine would this represent?
So the machines themselves are kind of in the $1 to $3 million range. A big cost also is associated with the actual, like the shielding for the room and the exhaust for the helium, et cetera. We don't expect this to be sold as necessarily part of the machine. Most of the manufacturers sell software separately. Siemens, for instance, you buy all the MRI protocols completely separately at a price point of 10 to 30K, depending on the protocol. So it would be probably bundled as part of that 10 to 30K.
And before I come to you, Abdul, I just want to ask, I mean, there are 4 giants already selling in this market. They've got the market, right? People already use MRI scanners. Why would they need to change this? Like, what is the benefit to the end user? I mean, you talked about better, faster, all these sorts of things, but give me a little bit more about sort of the need of this and why Philips, Siemens, all these big players are going to want this.
Okay, so yeah, precisely. As you said, the market is distributed among the 4 players, but there is really this urge to shift the market around, and people, or the 4 vendors, would like to get market share away from the others. And what is worth noting here, all 4 players have very different problems, but all of them, or most of them, can be addressed with our technology. So if they get our technology on board, they could get market share from the others.
If I add a little bit to that. So the image quality is difficult to price and difficult to kind of value in this space. So one kind of trick that we use to address that is to look at the changes in throughput. So if you can scan more patients in a day, in a hospital in the US at least, that translates directly to revenue. So if you replace the RF pulses in, let's say, a standard head protocol in an average hospital, that's going to translate to roughly $10,000 to $15,000 per day in revenue for the average hospital. So there's a big driver there. If they choose to trade that off, that value savings off for image quality, then that just speaks to the value of the image quality.
Great, appreciate that answer. Abdul, you had a question? Do you want to just repeat that? Yeah, can we repeat the question? Do you want me to? So asking about how your technology fits in here, where does the data sort of get integrated? Is it through an API? How does it work essentially? And saw a very reputable person as a supporter advisor of yours, Ralph Turfus, who is a part of Redland. So just asking about that and if you're aware and connected in any way.
Okay, thank you. So MRI has 3 core building blocks. One of those 3 core building blocks is the radio frequency field, which plays radio frequency pulses. Now, the issue is all of those three building blocks, they don't work perfectly. They have imperfections, and those imperfections actually cause all those artifacts you saw in my brain. And now with the way we design those radio frequency pulses, they are informed by the imperfections in the field, and therefore we prevent the artifacts from even existing. And to put it that way, it is for sure not hardware. It is not really software. So we have a software toolbox that generates those radio frequency pulses, but at the end, it's a list of numbers, and we put this list of numbers onto the MRI scanner. So Redline, to my understanding, is more computed tomography. So medical imaging, yes, but not really MRI. But of course, with Ralph Turfus having like so much experiences in this field, he's a very valuable support to us.
I think he's been working with you for 9 to 12 months now, and I chatted with him today. He's very impressed with the team. I'm walking all the way back here because I know there's a question back here.
Okay, so how do you lock in the your software? What's your moat? I know you've got IP, and how are you going to do the branding and your revenue model?
Okay, so a few things in there. We're going to talk about the moat that you're building with this, and then also the revenue model.
Okay, here comes one tiny little problem. The MRI manufacturers lock their scanners off. So that means with every scanner that is here in the lower mainland, except the research scanner we have at UBC, we cannot go in and put our software on. So what that means is we have to work with the manufacturers to integrate our protocol, our new protocol, and get it out. And so the revenue model we are looking at is, as Cam already answered earlier, manufacturers generate revenue through annual license fees of protocols, and we expect to get part of that when we are integrated in that.
Fantastic. I saw another one at the back. You gotta make me come on. Go for it.
So every time we ask the doctor about getting an MRI, they say 9 months. But if you go to Whistler, you can get it in 6 months. So how faster will you get MRI?
So asking about these long wait times at hospitals to get an MRI, and how does your technology help in all of this?
I think in terms of the local challenges, certainly our technology could address that. It's going to take a little bit while to get there, but if, for instance, every MRI scanner in BC had our technology, there probably wouldn't be any wait list as currently.
I think you mentioned 25% faster. I mean, that's going to translate into more people that you can process and get through that list faster. Things have moved pretty quickly for you, and I want you to dig in a little bit to how prepared you are to go in and sort of demo this with Philips. Like, is your product ready to go right now?
Yeah, so specifically with our first product where you saw my famous brain images as well as our paper in radiology, we could go tomorrow. It's as simple as that.
Fantastic. We got one question here with Frank, and we'll do that as the last one.
We've got one private health provider, Prenuvo, in our backyard who are pretty innovative. Are you doing or hoping to do anything with them?
Absolutely. So we have several connections there. One of our co-founders, Alex Rauscher, at the back of the room, is a prominent professor in MRI physics, and some students from his lab are there. He's also connected to the founding CTO, et cetera. So we've been in discussions with them. They're very interested in our technology, especially as it applies to full body MRI. And so we're hoping to partner with them to put pressure on their major vendor, which is Philips. So we're also actively working on a key opinion leader network to kind of create that market pull to pressure the vendors to make a move.
Great. Thanks so much. All right, that was phaseLab Dynamics. And up last here, we have Mehdi to introduce us to Energy Core Solutions. So Mehdi, I'll hand the controls over to you and let you take it away.
Thank you. My name is Mehdi Safayan. I'm a CEO and one of the co-founders of ECS Energy Core Solutions Inc. It's a new startup for the next generation of the solid-state battery. So there are a couple of problems right now in the domain of the battery which are traditional. One of them is the performance ceiling and the problem regarding the energy density that the current batteries have. The safety liability, and it's well known as thermal runaway, or they catch on fire, and also the high cost. It's the cost regarding raw materials, or either recycling or the ethical cost right now because the lithium preserve in the world is really limited, and wherever they found it, the governments normally issue the license for mining. And the minings are much more worse than mining gold regarding the impact on the nature. So in our technology, we have a priority mixture as electrolyte. This mixture doesn't have any rare metals in it. It's made of a mixture of the abundant materials. So regarding performance and energy density, is much higher than the current technologies, even the several times more than the solid states. It's very safe. It cannot catch on fire. Physically, it's not possible. And also, it has a low cost, both regarding raw materials and also production and recycle. Comparing to the current technologies in the market, we have lithium ion and first generation of the solid state. You can see that we are talking about something that energy density is 3 to 4 times more than the edge of the solid state right now. It means that 3 to 4 times mileage. And safety inherently cannot catch on fire, and cost is very low. And even the manufacturing, it could use the same manufacturing line of the current batteries that they are being produced with much simpler features and much cheaper. Regarding our technical roadmap, in 2025, we had the lab testing displayed proof of technology, and also we issued the US provisional and filed the PCT. This year, we are going to finalize the proof of concept, finalizing the mother patents that we are working in, and starting the alpha pilots. But one thing is that by end of this year, we are going to raise our seed round. A couple of items here is that in 2028, this is the fun part, I think, for investors mainly. We are going to start the licensing partnership with big players on the market that we are in touch right now. So here you can see on the right-hand side, there are the LOIs that we have already signed, are being finalized, talking with these guys just regarding confirming the proof of technology working in the real environment. But on the very left-hand side, they are the OEMs that we are already in touch with. You can see there are big names there. They are either in our contact points or they responded back to us. They are really willing to use the license for their technology or the batteries that they produce, but there is a long list of targeted OEMs that by licensing this technology, they want to augment their products. And the name that are here, they are the ones that are always welcoming the new technologies. Here is a team. I, as a CEO and co-founder, I work in Renaissance Missions. I launched 2 vehicles worldwide, one for Central Europe, one for South America before moving to Canada. We have our CTO, who's by chance has the same first name as me. He passed this technology in an industrial environment, and he found out that, okay, there is a way for using the abundant materials which would give much more energy density. And we have a deep technical DNA in the team. Regarding the strategy and networking, you have seen the name of the OEMs that we are already in touch with. Here is the advisory team. I think Dave is a well-known person here, and we are using the advisory team support for every almost aspect and very sensitive decision that the team is making. Regarding the ask for pre-seed raise, we are raising 750K and 300K has been committed. We are asking for 450K, which would give 6 to 7 months runway, which is enough for finalizing the milestone that you can see. We are already in discussion with the seed investors such as Headline in Japan and Korea. And they, after finalizing the milestone, they are willing to take the lead for the investment for the seed round. And thank you.
Great job, Mehdi. Thank you so much. All right, so we'll open it up for questions, and not seeing any shoot up, I will start. So tell us a little bit about the milestones, the key milestones that you've got to accomplish with this to get to commercialization.
Yeah. As main source of revenue for us would be the licensing. The fact is that we only need to complete the prototypes and run a couple of signed LOIs regarding just the technical aspect to show that the technology works in the real environment. This is one of the aspects. The other one is finalizing the IP patent strategy that we have, because for licensing, one of the things that the other side of the table wants to see, it means that you have a very solid and bulletproof type of patent strategy. These are the only two main parts. I think by end of seed, these things is achievable. And this is why we have investors such as Headline, that they are at the gate that, okay, for seed, they would came in and invest.
We've got a question over here. Go ahead, here, I'll come right over.
Can you give us a picture of your competition, especially from China?
This technology is unique and it's not in there. One of the aspects that why we start, our business development manager is residing in Tokyo. We are discussing with the Japanese and Korean OEMs if we could finalize the contract with them and they license the technology from us. It means that we would have enough support in that part of the region for copycat and those type of activity from the China side. But besides, we are working with Macmillan LLP as our law group. So they have set up our patent strategy. And we mentioned the fact that we are going to which part of the world for running business. So we are taking precautious type of steps before going to that region. Besides the patent, are signing up with OEMs. But the main strategy is that having OEMs from Japan specifically would save us again any side effects that might came up from the China.
Okay, thank you for that. We got a question just here, and then I'll go to you, Abdul.
Hello. So I actually have a question about mass production. I have actually seen a few different startups that are working on solid-state batteries. So the biggest issue that I'm seeing about this kind of technology is mass production, because the costs are very high. So what's your plan to solve this situation?
Great question, thank you.
It was a nice one. The current problem with the current solid state is that still they are using lithium. It is still there. It means that the cost of raw material is sitting there. The other problem is the type of environment that they need to have to do the mass production. For example, the environment without any oxygen or those type of vacuum type of rooms, so they can do the final sealing. We don't have those issues. It means that, and also one other aspect that we have, even for the cells that we have manufactured by hand, is very simple comparing to those guys. One of the problems that R&D of the other solid-state batteries have, even they have to replicate all the things that they are doing in the mass production line. But our technology is so simple that what we do even in the lab can be replicated in any size. It's just simply a mix of very unique materials which have been processed before, just putting them into the cell with cathode and anode and seal it. It's very simple. So regarding cost, not just raw material, but the way of production, we brought a very huge cost reduction.
Great, thank you for that. Abdul.
My question was about scaling. The second question I have actually is about the safe. What's the cap on it and what's the terms?
Okay, asking about the terms. What is the cap of the safe?
The cap on it is $9 million and is post money.
Is there any discount?
Yes, 20%.
20%. All right. I'd like to just ask one final question. How are you going to use the funds in this round?
Okay, the fund would be used mainly for lab and regulations. So we are developing different type of side type of a little bit modified of this technology because we gained the main concept of technology. And the other aspect that we are going to use on it is the regulations. The regulations based on the areas that you want to work in is very wide. For example, we had LOIs with companies in South America. They literally have no regulation. They are saying that just pack it and send it, you would use. They are those guys, but we have other parts of the world and the Japan market that we are targeting. Those guys are much tighter on the regulations. So the money would be used mainly for those aspects.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mehdi. All right, those are all the presentations. Thank you all for sticking through and listening to all of them. As we talked about before, we've got the interest, the connections, everything that we're using for this app here. And I'd like to just pull up really quickly where we're at with the leaderboard so that we can, I think this is kind of fun. Okay, so Energy Core Solutions, you were the last ones up, and is this up to date? Okay, so Energy Core has got a lot of interest from people in the audience today. We got phaseLab, Mama Milk, Great job, everyone. So really excited that we've sort of used this tool, and I'm looking forward to getting your feedback on it as well. So feel free to reach out to me. Let's go back to Vantec, and I will just close us out here by letting you all know that our next event is on March 4th. It's going to be back here at SFU Venture Labs. We've got a nice full room today. I look forward to having a nice full room in March as well. And if anyone is interested in becoming a member, I'll put this up at the end. But thank you all so much for joining, and look forward to some networking, food, and drinks in the back.